Welcome to Love Bite. I am a 58-year-old partial handicapped male who lives across from a great school. One day 3 years ago, I hear a little voice saying HI and turn to see a little 6-year-old girl, D. She starts to chit-chat but keeps looking at my apple tree. I ask if she wants one and she nods her head, so I let her tell me which one she wants, picks it for her. But I told her that she needs to ask her mom if it's okay to eat. She calls and I can't hear mom's side, but D is frustrated and keeps saying she is hungry. I ask for the phone and introduce myself and tell the mom, Heather, that the apples are safe to eat right off the tree as I do it all the time. She says it's okay, and over time, D stops by for more apples and sometimes I send some home to her mom. One day D says her mom wants my phone number, and later that night, she asks if she can buy a bunch as she is learning to bake apple pie. During one of the talks with D, I had told her how I sell some to a farmer who then sells them at his farmer's market. I tell her to come over and get how many she wants, because I don't want apples all over my yard. I try to pick them daily. So I had a lot of apples in my house, so I invite them in, and we think it would be cute to let D pick them out. So Heather and I get talking and find out we are ridiculously similar. A few days later, they show up with an apple pie, so of course I invite them in for some. As we talk, I invite them to stay for dinner. Luckily, I had spaghetti, which is easy. They end up staying for hours, and next thing I know, we are having dinner at least once a week. One night Heather comes over, but D is at a sleepover. We decide to take advantage and watch a non-kid movie. As much as I liked Heather, I am 20 years older and just assumed I am too old for her. During the movie, she ends up with her head on my shoulder, and I give her a blanket which she puts over both of us. At some point we start holding hands, and at the end of the movie, I look at her and she has this huge sexy smile on her face. The next morning, we wake up and I ask whether that was a one-night stand or did we just start dating. She responded dating to my surprise. So we talked about expectations, and my only hard boundary was that I hated being cheated on, as every woman had cheated on me. She promised that she wasn't that type. Problem? Here we are years later, we seem happy. But I start to notice that every Friday night, she has to work late and asks me to watch D. And more often she is unavailable on Sundays. We still seem super happy with no major issues. One day we are discussing dinner and D wants pizza. Okay, by me, but Heather says no and gives D a weird look. As we continue the discussion, D insists on pizza and then blurts out, I haven't had pizza since Paul got us one. Who is Paul? Just a friend that helps with household repairs that she can't handle. I tell D we are getting pizza and she can go watch TV. You know how people can give off a guilty vibe? Well, it flooding off Heather. We got talking, and after initially denying anything, she broke down and admitted that she and Paul sometimes had meaningless sex. It was just sex, nothing more. I say, I only had one hard boundary, and turn to walk into the living room. She tried to talk, and I just shake my head. We eat the pizza in relative silence, only interacting with D afterwards. I tell them they need to leave as I am very tired. D gives me a big hug and runs out to the car, and Heather again tries to talk with me, again shaking my head. The next day, she blows up my phone. When I haven't answered in hours, she starts texting. The basics was that it was just sex and nothing emotional and had only happened less than a dozen times, and it never changed her thinking of us as a couple, so it's not really cheating. I get that due to my handicaps, I am rather limited in bed, but she knew that going in even after that first night. Have we come to that as a society that just sex is not cheating? Everyone is getting cheated on these days. I don't know how to trust a cheater, and trust is huge in a relationship. Plus, there's D to consider. You know, if I dump her mom, I will become the bad person. Heather says she loves me, and I know D does. And I did love them before this. Am I just too handicapped or old-fashioned to expect not to be cheated on? Is this still even considered cheating? Officially, we are on a break, and poor D still stops by after school wondering why we aren't doing things anymore, and I tell her that her mom has things to decide. I can't stand the thought of breaking that little heart. Help.